Hi there, I'm Jackson Piercy.
And I'm Dayton and Sarah.
Dozens of seriously injured Palestinians were allowed to leave Gaza on Wednesday after more than 3 weeks under siege. While Israeli airstrikes destroyed apartments for the second day, dozens of foreign passport holders were allowed entry through the Rafah crossing on Egypt to Gaza to Egypt earlier today. It appears the first time foreign passport holders have been allowed to leave the besieged territory since the start of the Israel-Hamas war more than 3 weeks ago.
Members of the Omaha community shared their concerns and frustrations with the recent law legalizing LB 77. The bill, enacted in September, provides for carrying of concealed handguns without a permit and changes provisions relating to concealed weapons. Reporter Andrew Kusleka says that 2 recent public forums outlined the public's confusion.
Nathan Hale Middle School and the Juvenile Detention Alternatives Initiative hosted a public forum regarding permitless concealed carry bill LB 77. The Omaha Police Department and Douglas County Sheriffs provided information and took questions from attendees like Cheryl Weston and Sheila Turbis. Attendees Weston and Turbis say they just want to be informed.
They had a meeting in South Omaha and they had a meeting in North Omaha. Why didn't you have a meeting in West Omaha?
Thank you.
They both say crimes happen everywhere in the city.
They had a big bust, drug bust, and the guy comes on, well, I just didn't think this could happen in my neighborhood.
At the public forum held here at Nathan Hale Magnet Middle School, both Weston and Turbis say they were shocked by the intricacies of LB 77, and Deputy Jordan Zellers says that's the exact reason she volunteered her time here today.
I think it's important for our entire community to understand responsible gun ownership and safe manners to carry a firearm, understanding how to use a firearm, safe storage of a firearm.
The leaders of the forum discussed methods of responsible gun ownership as well as the details of the new bill, such as the illegality of carrying a firearm in an establishment that gets 50% or more of their profits from alcohol. Other caveats to the bill include carrying a gun on city property or committing a misdemeanor crime. According to Gun Facts, 26.3% of gun owners carry their gun in public. For the Omaha News, I'm Andrew Kosleka.
Omaha City Council President Pete Festerson introduced ordinances to combat the bill, such as the prohibition of ghost guns and bump stocks.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture predicts food prices will continue their climb in 2023. The Maverick Food Pantry is helping with food insecurity, which can be a major issue in a person's life. The Maverick Food Pantry has been a resource for the last 10 years. It is free for all UNO students, staff, and faculty. Each person can get 20 items per week, and they can come back every week. The manager of the Maverick Food Pantry, Madeline St. Clair, says patrons appreciated the normalization of the food pantry experience.
The COVID pandemic definitely played an instrumental part in letting people know that they are actually closer to food insecurity than they thought they were.
From 2022 to 2023, the pantry has distributed 5,870 food bags and served 866 guests, which is a 130% increase compared to 2021. Among those guests, 27% are one-time guests, 63% are repeat guests. The USDA Economic Research Service forecasts food at-home prices will increase 8.6% in 2023. St. Clair says the Maverick Food Pantry will continue to be a resource for UNO campus and continue to be a source of hope.
After the break, see how UNO's Maverick Quartet is helping cancer patients.
Then see how the cost of weddings is projected to be on the rise in the coming 2024 season.
University of Nebraska at Omaha's bookstore is home to more than books. The UNO bookstore accommodates all students' needs with phone and laptop repairs at the iFix UNO station or free residence hall delivery. The bookstore, located in the Milevale Student Center, is full of Maverick merchandise. Find sweatshirts for chilly Nebraska days or cozy UNO mugs for every coffee fix. Shop anytime at unobookstore.com.
Nearly 3,000 student athletes competing in 19 varsity sports from 9 institutions. Compete for nationally ranked teams to become academic All-Americans and NCAA champions. Nearly 100,000 students and more than 800,000 alumni celebrate their schools as they rise to reach the summit. The Summit League, where tomorrow's leaders reach the summit today.
I'm a veteran, wear my battle scars like a letterman's. I done crawled through the mud, both speed, so I
Coming
wouldn't underestimate me.
up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Faded grass to a full.
The Maverick Quartet, a group of string instrumentalists at UNO, has been playing since 2016. The quartet, through the Healing Arts program at the University of Nebraska Medical Center, is transforming the healthcare experience with their performances. UNO's Maverick Quartet recently has been playing at the Fred and Pamela Buffett Cancer Center at UNMC for patients, visitors, and providers. Maverick Quartet cello player Gregory Clinton says that music helps all kinds of people, even those who struggle with memory loss.
The adults, the dementia patients, they've lost so much memory, short-term memory, but then we'll play something and their faces will just light up because that's something, maybe from the distant past.
Maverick Quartet player Olga Smola says UNMC plans to conduct research in the spring while having the instrumentalists play privately for patients with dementia.
Right.
And the next stage of the project will be in February and March, when we will have 6 in-person visits with patients with dementia. And we are so happy to do this again because since COVID, this will be the first time when we finally will be able to see them again in person.
According to the American Music Therapy Association, nearly 2 million people received music therapy sessions in 2020 during the pandemic to help with communication skills, improve memory, and improve self-esteem. Patients and visitors enjoy listening to the music as much as the musicians enjoy playing. A UNMC visitor says she finds it soothing.
I said, this is just perfect, hearing this music, and it's just so soothing for the things people have to go through.
The Maverick Quartet continues to prove that music truly enriches the human experience. The Maverick Quartet will continue playing weekly at the University of Nebraska Medical Center. For more information, check out the School of Music page on UNO's website.
Student organizations and advisors are busy preparing for UNO's annual Wear Black, Give Back 24-hour Day of Giving. The goal this year is to surpass 4,000 gifts before the event concludes November 9th at noon. Spirit and Tradition Director Bill Pickett says Wear Black, Give Back 2023 is one of the only ways many of the some 200 student organizations receive any funding.
Some of those groups rely heavily on that money because without it, they don't have the opportunity to go to conferences or go on trips or professional development things.
While friends and supporters of UNO student groups can give at any time, the 24-hour event kicks off Wednesday, November 8th at 11:30 right here in the UNO TV studios. You can hear live updates on mavradio.fm or on the Giving Day website and social media.
How much do couples typically spend on a wedding in Nebraska? The average wedding cost in Nebraska for 2022 was nearly $22,000. Reporter Hannah Wheelock has more on the trends of 2024.
Weddings have evolved over generations due to factors like the economy, religious affiliations, and changing generational values. Wedding officiant Mark Feit has been officiating for almost 20 years. Feit says he believes weddings are so different now because couples are not as associated with religion as they once were.
When couples find me, it's usually because they don't have a church home. And based on my availability calendar, there are a lot of couples out there that want to have a wedding but don't belong to a church.
Many traditional wedding practices are linked to religious belief, like a white gown, a wedding veil, and the father walking the bride down the aisle. The change in weddings isn't just seen in the attitudes, it's also seen in how they look. Some people are just doing simple backyard weddings, courthouse weddings. Some people don't even buy a full gown, but others still do. According to The Knot, 61% of couples set to wed in 2023 said the economy had impacted their wedding planning. David's bridal operations manager, Linda Mason, says many brides don't have the money to spend on expensive gowns.
They're making weddings smaller, more personal, and trying very hard not to spend a lot of money. Definitely budgets have gotten a lot smaller.
The Event Planner Expo says they expect weddings in 2024 to become more personalized with micro weddings, themed weddings, and many other non-traditional wedding practices. Over the upcoming holiday season, a large number of couples are expected to become engaged. 2024 trends will begin to emerge at the beginning of the year. Places like David's Bridal prepare every January to welcome brides-to-be and help with wedding planning, including wedding gowns and bridesmaids' dresses. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Hannah.
Omaha police are taking steps to enhance community safety ahead of the winter season. In October, they put together a plan to put people to decrease their speed while driving. The plan is called Operation Falling Speed. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office implemented a similar speeding enforcement initiative last summer. That one took place on Omaha's West Dodge Road. Officials with OPD said Omaha's streets are getting more dangerous because of high speeds. In fact, police say they've pulled over an average of 85 speeders a month driving more than 100 miles an hour. Most driving accidents in Omaha are caused by some sort of speed-related incident. One of the main reasons for this reckless driving is people rushing out the door for work or other events.
After the break, see how Council Bluffs Luss Hills are affected by dirt bikes.
Then we take a trip down to the Vallis Pumpkin Patch to celebrate 10,000 races.
The media landscape is vastly different from the past. Conglomeration and consolidation have changed the skill sets required to succeed. Journalists must not only know how to conduct research, interview, and write stories, but they also have to know how to shoot and edit the stories they tell. Likewise, creative media professionals must know how to interview, research, and write the stories they shoot and edit. In the School of Communication, we require students to gain experience and proficiencies employers are seeking. The two hardest mediated genres to produce are live sports and newscasts. Thus, once our students are taught the basics, they are given opportunities to improve the abilities at these genres. Capstones 1 and 2 feature the culmination of skill sets. Once students produce the Omaha News, they can use it in their demo reel to show their skills. From here, students can go anywhere.
I never thought I'd be standing in the clouds looking down on the ancient ruins of the Incan Empire. I never thought I'd live among the street artists in Valparaiso. I never thought I'd make friends that would last a lifetime.
Adventure's out there, and as Mavericks, it's up to us to find it.
Stop thinking, start doing. Visit educationabroad.unomaha.edu.
It's a super fun activity. The group only rehearses as needed to prepare for the music that they provide at games. And we're always looking for ways to continue showing what the very talented students in the Maverick Machine are capable of.
I really enjoy doing pep band because it's music that is very familiar to me.
After nearly 4 months, the Hollywood actors' strike appears to have an end in sight. The SAG-AFTRA union, representing over 150,000 actors, continues negotiations this afternoon in what both sides are calling productive meetings. The studios warn they must make a deal this week if there's any chance for scripted network TV series next year. Details on a potential deal remain discreet, but important points include financial negotiations and the use of artificial intelligence.
Dirt bike racing is a challenging and thrilling sport that is held all over the world in a variety of different terrains and obstacles. Our reporter Gracie Goose shows how Mills County, Iowa residents are concerned about the races within the Luss Hills.
Within the past month, there has been concerns about whether people should be allowed to hold dirt bike races within the Loess Hills in Mills County, Iowa. Community members are concerned that it will ruin the preservation of the historic landscape. Loess Hills Enduro Trails owner Alex Malcolm holds an annual race each year and wants the community to know the facts about dirt bike racing before making assumptions about how it affects the land.
Races are over. That's when the real work happens, because we bring equipment in and we reseed wherever you see grass that if it's been disturbed, we plant new grass seed back. So we want to take care of the land. It's our land.
Alex also shared that the trails that racers ride on are like walking trails within the Loess Hills. Both usually originate from deer trails or natural erosion. If you're wondering what makes the Loess Hills so important, they run for about 200 miles from Sioux City, Iowa, down to St. Joe, Missouri. The hills get their name from the large amount of loess deposits found in the soil. The only other place to find that is in China. It's important to know that the races that are held once a year are on private property within Loess Hills, not conservation land. Chairman of the Board of Supervisors for Mills County, Lonnie Mayberry, told me the board's primary goal should be taking care of the landowners and ensuring the Loess Hills are protected and preserved. He doesn't feel the board's goal should be to take care of a couple people at the taxpayers' expense. He feels that the landowner should be able to enjoy his or her land in any way possible, while preservation and conservation is being exercised. For the Omaha News, I'm Gracie Goose.
This is an ongoing issue among the county residents and the Board of Supervisors. Members of the community are hoping an agreement can be made where the hills are protected and the races can continue.
Nationally recognized Vallis Pumpkin Patch wrapped up their 39th season last night. Spread across 450 acres of land, the Pumpkin Patch sees roughly 15,000 visitors daily through September and October. There's one tradition that keeps attracting fall fans for nearly 3 decades. Reporter Wyatt Moravets takes us to the races.
1, 2, 3.
Mark Selesky loves to educate. Specifically, he loves to teach people about animals and their value. That's why he began the pig races at Vallis Pumpkin Patch just over 27 years ago. Now, he's finally reached one of his biggest goals, his 10,000th pig race.
I've been doing the show for 27 years. Been on the farm for 28, but doing the show for 27. And it was one of my original goals. I've always told my kids, well, I'm not going to have anyone else do the show till I reach 10,000 shows.
This accomplishment isn't a big deal to just Mark Selesky, but also to the entire Vallis staff, and most importantly, his family. His son, John Selesky, says that the experience was like a childhood dream come true.
I remember sitting in the audience at like 4 years old, and I was like, I want to do that someday. And now to be here 20 years later, watching my dad hit 10,000 shows is just the biggest blessing I could have asked for.
After 10,000 races, Selesky still loves his job, bringing home the bacon with his family.
We've been doing it a long time, and it's really been rewarding. We've made a lot of magical moments.
On behalf of myself and everyone at Vallis, we sincerely hope you all have a fun farm adventure with family and friends.
Selesky is excited to return next year for Vallis' 40th anniversary. They will begin planning next June for the new show.
Those piglets look pretty well trained, Wyatt.
Mark told me that it only takes 3 days. He says that pigs are the third most intelligent animal after gorillas and dolphins, and dividing their food into equal portions per show motivates them to run their fastest.
Thanks, Wyatt. Don't go away when we come back to get an inside look at how Baxter Arena gets transformed every day.
Then I take you to the opera for a night of tears and laughs. All this and more on the Omaha News.
IT is so broad that it's not just coding. It can be applied in so many different ways in different areas.
Technology impacts a lot of different things, a lot of different people, and if you can truly put yourself in their shoes and trying to solve that problem, just understanding that why is truly important.
UNO is one of those places where you can come and really get involved in whatever you want.
I ended up taking a bioinformatics class, and I ended up with an MD PhD. I can do both the research and I can help people.
I chose the College of IS&T because it was my dream to become a data manager, and this college fits the best.
They're really the best people to be teaching the classes because they know and have worked in the field.
There's always a people factor, and getting people that are interested in your development is key to your success.
Omaha's best college radio station. It's MAV Radio. To listen, just go online to mavradio.fm.
Baxter Arena is in the midst of the busiest time of the year. Reporter J.L. Johnson takes us behind the scenes to see what is done to prepare for the season.
Of Baxter's 35 fall events calendar, the October-November stretch has half. Baxter's operations supervisor, Hunter Sundquist, explains the flow of the arena's busy season.
We kind of ease into it with volleyball, and then shortly after hockey will get involved, and then both basketball teams start practicing and having games.
Not only do Baxter workers construct the arena for sports, Baxter's operations and maintenance manager, Nick Slimp, has a whole list of activities to coordinate the setup of.
That can be anything from athletic events, corporate events, luncheons, concerts mixed in there, just anything and everything that you could think of that would be at an arena or convention center. We kind of have little meeting spaces throughout the building for those stuff.
Slimp says the goals for each sporting event changeover is about 4 to 5 hours. In some cases, they will change over twice in a day. Sundquist explained that last week was one of their busiest all year long, logging a whopping 73 hours at the arena. How are you feeling after this?
Very tired.
Hunter says the days are long and the hours are hard, but putting together a team like this and getting the work done is very rewarding at the end of the day. With about 18 shifts per changeover, a team of part-time and union workers is put together for each shift.
You definitely work up a sweat, and it kind of depends on what we're doing. Hockey glass is pretty heavy. The bigger pieces of hockey glass will weigh up to 250 pounds, so it's very important to team lift.
Both Sundquist and Slimp agree it's a team effort to get through the fall every year. For the Omaha News, I'm J.L. Johnson.
Baxter staff set up the volleyball court for the last time of the year last weekend and makes the change to men's and women's basketball starting next Tuesday.
It's been 20 months since Russian leader Vladimir Putin launched an attack on Ukraine. In mid-October, Ukrainian citizens took to the streets to protest and demand an 18-month gap on mandatory military service. Both parties are facing morale issues, but their leaders are determined to maintain their military momentum. The war is projected to last well into the coming year as neither side is able to deliver a decisive blow. Nevertheless, U.S. authorities indicate that Russian troops are grappling with morale issues as they face another winter campaign. The White House stated on Thursday that Russia is resorting to extreme measures, including executing soldiers who defy orders and threatening entire units with death should they withdraw from Ukrainian artillery fire.
As the years go by, the opera has done nothing but prove time and time again that people will be what they may, even with a wrench like the pandemic falling into the gears. I go backstage to Opera Omaha's latest production, Don Pasquale. In the years following the COVID-19 pandemic, opera performances have seen a hit in their attendance numbers, as was the trend with much of the theatrical industry. A 2022 report by Opera America says that only 10% of opera's expenditure was covered by box office sales in 2021, compared to nearly 60% in 2018. Despite all that, opera still persists, pulling on the heartstrings that all people feel, as performer Miles Mikkonen will tell you.
We still have the same emotions. Love is love, and hatred, and being upset. I mean, We felt those 500 years ago or 200 years ago, and the world around us changes. But the operas remind us that we're still human beings.
Opera Omaha's recent run on Gaetano Donizetti's Don Pasquale is their latest foray into expressing those emotions. The comic opera, or opera buffa, is an exercise in penny pinching and mistaken identity. Making its home in the Orpheum Theater, Don Pasquale stands as a new challenge to recoup lost funds and time from the pandemic, as well as pushing the envelope for the performers involved. Jarrell Williams, in his Opera Omaha debut as the titular Don Pasquale, has performed in places such as the Lincoln Center in New York City to major venues in Vancouver, Atlanta, and Seattle. Playing in as many places as William has, he still pushes himself to be better than what he was.
So one of the challenges for me in this piece is to not feel as though I have to do too much, because what I'm providing is just enough.
Even with the baggage of a pandemic and the throes of time working against them, the goal remains the same: to put on a good show for those willing to see. Opera Omaha's remaining season includes performances of Giuseppe Verdi's La Traviata on February 16th and 18th next year, and Gabriela Lena Frigg's El Último Sueño de Frida y Diego on May 3rd and 4th. Thanks for watching the Omaha News. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at UNO the Omaha News, or go to unomahanews.com for even more events and news.
We'll be back next week for our final newscast of the semester.
For me, it's about understanding the process of communication and what we learn through that process.
So something that you'll find within the School of Communication graduate program is that there is such a rich field of expertise.
I can think of no other discipline where we spend so much time focusing on not just one side of the conversation, but all sides of the conversation.
Not only do you get to work closely with other graduate students that come from all different walks of life, but you get to learn from graduate faculty that take those perspectives and help you grow yourself in a way that teaches you to be an academic, but also lets you be you in a really unique way.
I chose UNO very specifically, not just because I live here, I'm proud to represent here, but because I thought their program offered strengths that I didn't see in other programs.
For more than 20 years, only one program has addressed topics that matter to viewers. Only one program delivers the information that Nebraskans need to live the good life. I'm Kathy Wyatt. Join my guests and me as we discuss those issues every week on a program we call Consider This.